Hello, I'm Dr. Jeanette Raymond, psychologist, psychotherapist, and relationship expert, here to talk to you about how not to blow the opportunity of having the partner of your dreams walk out on you. It's a very common theme that I find my women, in particular clients, come to me with. They've waited a long time to find their partner. They never thought it was going to happen. They keep imagining it, but it never gets real. And then all of a sudden, boom, they find someone who they just seem to jibe with. All is well. They feel like they've known that person all their lives. And it's just too good to be true. So one of my clients had this problem, and she was terrified, absolutely terrified, of the speed at which her relationship with her new date was moving. It was like less than a month in existence. They'd only had, few dates, and yet he was talking about marriage, and they were talking about their values, about bringing up children. Both were running their own businesses, how that would work out, and so on. And she said she just wanted a breather. She wanted to step back and not see him so often and have time in between. She couldn't handle the fact that what she'd wanted all her life, this perfect person, had somehow found her. And the worst thing of all was she couldn't find anything wrong with him. That was the problem. If only he showed her one flaw, one blemish, made one little error, stepped in the wrong direction just once, she'd have the ideal justification for saying, "Oh, thank God, I finally got some relief. I don't have to pursue this. I don't have to make it work. And most of all, I don't have to worry about him getting close to me, about wanting me and needing me, because I don't have anything to give." That was her problem, that she felt empty, and that the only things she did have, which were material things, like a good home and car and some savings and so on, a business, that he would then rob that from her. And as soon as he got it all, she would be left abandoned, on the road, completely, washed out, taken for a ride. And what was going to be the point in all that? So 3 weeks into this brand new dating, she's already thinking of all the prenup codicils that she'd have to write, all the rules, so that she could protect herself from this apparently ideal relationship. Basically, what was happening for her was she was very attached to her parents. Parents are parents. They're always going to be there for you. They're never going to let you down, even if you don't get on with them all the time and they disagree with stuff. But another human being, to trust that person, to be like a parent, to always be there, to never let you down, to be that rock no matter what, that's a lot to ask of this kind of person who's so afraid of investing in someone else and then feeling like they're going to be cleaned out and left to hang out and dry. So how do you deal with this? Well, number one, the first thing to do is to look at the reality. He is or she is a human being. They are flawed. They're not gods. They're not knights in shining armor. They can't keep going and slaying all the dragons and killing off all your enemies and bringing their heads to you on a silver platter to keep proving that they want you, they're going to take care of you, that nothing else matters in their life. No, they're human. They're going to have needs just like you. And they're going to make errors. One day they will forget something and you will be completely shattered. Or they'll say something in the wrong tone of voice. Or they'll miss an appointment, or they'll be late, or they won't text, or they won't call, or in some way, shape and form they're going to show you that for a moment in their lives you were not in the center of their radar screen. that they kind of messed up a little bit in that regard. And it is going to upset you. It is going to make you feel scared, maybe. So you have to be prepared for that, because that is life. So that's number one. It's going to happen. Just get ready for it. You cannot keep preventing it, and nor can you keep being safe for it, because if you do, if you choose safety over everything else, you're never going to have a relationship. In reality, it'll always be in your mind, a fantasy one. Okay, number two, accept the fact that you're human too, that you're going to make errors too. You're going to upset that person, you're going to betray them, you're going to let them down, you're going to mess up too. And as soon as you do that, you're putting your relationship on a human level. No longer is it you, the person who needs to be, put on a pedestal and taken care of as if you were a precious, fragile object that nobody's eyes can be taken off you, because if they did, you'd crumble. No. You are a very successful business person. You're already taking care of yourself. You're already making a ton of money. You've already lived halfway through your life, basically, if you're in your 40s and you're still looking for the right person, because the right person only exists in your head, not in reality. They're going to be human there, which means they're flawed. So accept the fact that you're flawed too. So number one, once again, they're going to mess up. They're not gods, and they're not fantasy objects. They're not fairy tale princes. Number two, you are as human as them. You're going to mess up too. You're not going to be perfect for them either. Number three is to talk about the fear of abandonment. Talk about the fear that you think they might grab everything you've gotten in your life, take it away from you, and then walk out. If you don't talk about it, you'll always be having a relationship with a barrier in between you, a skin that makes it impossible for you to connect in a secure way, because you're always holding back. So talk, because you know what? They're going to have the same fears. You're not the only one. So if you talk about your fear of abandonment, it's coming from somewhere, and they probably had the same experience, although in a different context. They're as afraid that you're going to walk out on them because you don't find them the perfect person, in the same way as you're imagining that they're going to walk out on you because the only thing they want of you is your money and your goods, and that you and yourself are not attractive enough to be with. Talk about your side, listen to their side, and discover that you're in the same boat. That's what's going to connect you. It's your similarities, not your differences. Your similarities of fears, of anxiousness, of imagining the worst scenario possible, and the fear of total commitment and attachment to another human being who is not your parents and who can walk out on you. Some parents do too, but somewhere inside us we believe, we have this sense that parents are people we can always rely on, when in most cases it's true, but in a lot of cases you can't. Even if they're physically there, they're not going to be always reliable. And that's going to happen with your partner. They may be there, but they might be in another world because they're worried about something. They're anxious that they're not good enough for you. You're anxious that you're not good enough for them. So, to recap, number one, your partner's not an ideal person, god or prince. Number two, neither are you. Both of you are flawed, so connect on that basis. And number three, talk about your fear of abandonment, your fear of being left empty, your fear of being robbed, rotten, and left to hang out to dry, because that's where you're both going to connect. Once you do that, there's nothing left to prevent you from being fully invested on both sides, making the best, the strongest connection you can, but knowing and accepting that even that is fallible and it could crack. But if you talk about these things, as soon as you see a crack, you'll be able to repair it, and you won't have to worry about abandonment and emptiness and feeling useless and so on, because you've already opened the door. You've already put it out there on the table. There's no shame, there's no embarrassment. It's just kind of how it is. So those are the three basic ways in which to make sure that the partner of your dreams becomes the most important person in your life. You can become a partner in marriage, if that's what you want, or in living together, making a civil commitment to each other. But don't let it slip out of your fingers. And if you need some help with that, please call me. My number will be at the end of the video, 310-985-2491. I'm happy to be able to coach you or offer you therapy. I'm also glad to be able to remind you of my book, Now You Want Me, Now You Don't, on this site, where you can learn more about the fear of intimacy and experience it from the side of both the man and the woman in the couple, so that you'll get a sense that it's always a dynamic. It's never just one or the other. Enjoy. Let me help you. Call me, and most of all, write down what you think, what your experiences are. And until next time, enjoy the video and the book.